Hey there, soccer fans. Welcome on to this week's episode of Between the Posts, where I'm joined every single week by Matt, where we preview this upcoming games of the Premier League. It'll be the last time we're with you guys for a couple of weeks, as we're going to then go into international break for the last time in 2023. So it's a big week. We got to turn a profit, and we got to kick ass this weekend. So look forward to doing it with you there, Matt. How's it been going, man?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. Got a little Europa League starting in 45 minutes. Liverpool. That's exciting stuff. So
Yeah, we
so
got to get
yeah.
this over so you can watch your boys. I've actually got a 2 unit play on that game, so I'm also interested in getting this breakdown done in 45-ish minutes and watch it myself.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's hop on over to the Molyneux, where I know your bets, you know my bets, and Kane. It looks like he in the comment section says the favorite play this weekend has to be Wolves. You and I both agree because, yeah, like I said, we know each other's bets. Well, why do we like Wolves? Why do you like Wolves, Matt?
Well, I think it's some injuries, of course. Like it's the red card. All of those key pieces. I mean, you take out. They've been brilliant. I mean, Van de Ven has been truly
Solid.
unbelievable. He's going to be out for a little while. Richarlison, he hasn't been great this year, but that's still one of those like kind of key bench players when you're tied up in the 75th minute. It's a 1-1 game. You bring on someone like Richarlison hoping to change the game. He's not there. Udogi has been brilliant at left back. He's out after the double booking. And then Romero. So just three really big pieces. And we don't know about Madison. He took a knock. He got a knock on the ankle. We were down one man already. It made sense to take a couple of changes at that point. So maybe he's okay, but we still don't know. And we know that, Wolves are one. They're not easy to beat. I think that they're a team that, when you've got somebody like Neto, but here's one of the other key things too is Neto is not going to be available. So that I'll tell you what, Jason, I think that's why this line really has kind of come back down. This is one that I bet earlier in the week. I think this is one that you bet earlier in the week, and we were kind of hoping to beat the market, and it doesn't look like we did really. It kind of just is at the same price, and it's probably because of Neto, because Neto is their creator. So he's the guy. If you look at all of their games, like you see a goal or assist, it's generally kind of coming from him off the right hand side. Um, so they won't be able to expose who doggies miss there. I just think that it's a lot of changes for Tottenham. I think that Tottenham generally in the market right now are still slightly overrated. I don't think that I don't think that they're title contenders. I really don't. I think that this is, I think it's a three-horse race. Pretty much, it's probably going to be City, but I do think that Arsenal and Liverpool stand a little bit better chance than Tottenham to continue this throughout 38 matches. So I don't know. It's just one that I kind of grabbed early. Was hoping that the market would move, but even with Neto out, I still believe that Wolves can do something here and score a goal. I think if Wolves score a goal, I think it'd be tough for them to get beat here.
Yep, I agree. You mentioned Tottenham's defensive issues. Three of their four starters are out. You mentioned Romero, you mentioned Udogi, and obviously you mentioned Van de Ven. So they're not going to have either of those three guys. So you're getting three new defensive players. They'll have to overcome that challenge. Madison, you mentioned him as well. So that's certainly one reason why I liked it. Injuries aside, we're both going to give out Wolves double chance. Wolves has cashed this bet in three of the last four head to head. So even when these sides have been healthy with the Harry Kanes and the Suns and all these guys in the side, Wolves have still cashed this bet three of the last four head to head. So I like that right there. This also could be a matchup where cards could come into play. Wolves have the second most cards in the Premier League. Tottenham has the fourth most cards in the Premier League. But I think you got to say that with a little bit of a caveat because you don't have Romero, and he's like a walking yellow card every time he's on the field. He is so reckless with all of his challenges. So I would maybe give you a little bit of pause there because that to me is a yellow that you're just not going to get with Romero being full out suspended. Another great angle, Matt, has to be both teams to score. Wolves in the last 14 Premier League games only has one clean sheet in their last 14. and they've found the back of the net in their last 10 Premier League games. So maybe if you don't want to take a chance on Wolves, maybe picking on a depleted back line for Spurs, maybe you go both teams to score. It's minus 190. So to me, that would fall into a parlay piece. But I think both teams to score is certainly a great option. Spurs will likely still get a goal with Son, even without Maddison. We haven't really seen Spurs, though, without Maddison, to be fair, this season. So there's a little bit of an unknown there. But I'm going to go ahead and ride that Wolves double chance with you. Like the Wolves at home, always tough here at home, and they're going to get it done against a depleted Tottenham team, which they got some adversity for the first time this season. We haven't seen how they've responded. First loss. Now they've got the injuries coming. Every team deals with injuries. It's finally starting to catch up to Tottenham, and it's all in one place, which is what a manager dreads when like one position group here being the defense just gets crushed. So all right, let's see if Tottenham or Wolves can't tuck us in with a little double chance because we're both on that play. Let's head on over now to the Emirates where Burnley comes into town. Likely one-way traffic, likely an Arsenal win, likely going to go ahead and cover a winning by a margin. So I think really it just comes down to over, under, or both teams to score. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, that's the piece that's tough. And I kind of just decided to block all of that out. And I'm going to take, a guy that I kind of mentioned 2 weeks ago. It's in a similar type of spot. He is 50-50 to go, so this bet might be voided completely. But if he starts, I think Nketiah scores here because we know that he is kind of a box striker. He loved, when they've got, Arsenal's going to have a ton of possession here. He had a hat trick a couple games ago in a similar type of role, where Arsenal has a ton of possession. Saka got a little bit banged up. He took a little knock yesterday. So there's a couple guys here, being assessed basically for some ankle foot stuff. But, I just see Arsenal doing well here. If you made me, I would say that Burnley could score. I could absolutely, but Arsenal's defense, we know, Jason. I mean, it's rock solid. Mm-hmm. It's rock solid. So I see this game being, God, it's tough. It's tough. That's kind of really why I diverted here to Nketiah because I think that, he's been brilliant. I mean, he steps up. Dyer and Højbjerg.
So two midfielders as your center back, because we know Dyer's not a center back.
True. Very true. So, I'm on Nketiah. Anytime goal scorer, plus 120 here. I think that he can bag one if he starts.
I'm going to go a little bit different. You think maybe Burnley can score. I don't think Burnley's going to go ahead and score here. Arsenal has the best XG conceded in the Premier League when they're at home. They only allow 0.7 goals per game at home in terms of XG conceded. And then Burnley, when they're away, in terms of XG created, they're 18th of the Premier League. They only create 0.86 goal chances per game. So under one. Arsenal's defense is just absolutely outstanding. They're going to be in full control of this game from a possession standpoint. Give me Arsenal a win to nil, I think is how you get into this game. They'll probably get 3-0 if I had to take a guess. I would go 3-0. I like your Nketiah play as well because he's going to struggle against good teams. We've talked about it. You had a great angle against Sheffield. You nailed it. Similar opponent, Sheffield, Burnley, in terms of one in which Nketiah can find, some service and take advantage of. So I like your play right there. It's at plus money. I'm going Arsenal win to nil is my bet in that game. 3-0 Arsenal win is what I think. All right, Matt, I need your help here. Let's head on over to Selhurst Park. I've got 3 potential bets circled. I need to know what you're thinking. Am I pulling the trigger on all 3? You know one of them. It's going to be 0-0 at halftime, right? That's it in all 5 Crystal Palace games at Selhurst Park. It hit against Arsenal. It hit against Tottenham. We cash it against Tottenham, going right back to the well for a 0-0 halftime at plus 170. Sean Dice versus Roy Hodgins. Did you know he's 5-0 against Roy Hodgins? 3 wins and 2 draws. Never lost to Roy Hodgins. 5-0. In those 5 matches, Sean Dice has conceded 0 goals. He's got 5 clean sheets up against a Roy Hodges team. Crystal Palace, I like that. Everton has 3 wins of the Premier League this season. 2 of those are via the clean sheet. 2 of them are via the clean sheet. And Sam Johnston, goalkeeper for Crystal Palace, has the second best clean sheet percentage in the Premier League this season. 45% of his games ending a clean sheet. Smells like an under 2.5. It is awfully juicy based on those stats I gave you, and it rightfully should be juicy as hell. I'm looking at, Matt, obviously 0-0 at halftime. I'm looking at taking a chance on the Everton win to nil, and I'm looking at taking a chance on the Everton clean sheet. Give me your thoughts and some confidence, or give me some pause.
I mean, you've done some really good digging. I think anybody watching the show, I mean, those are some stuff that I didn't know about. I didn't know that his head-to-head record was so dominant over a Hodgson. I think that you look toward those are the kind of angles that I like to bet personally. Um, and I think that we can back Everton's recent form. They've been pretty good. I think that Everton have been, and we've known their XG created. Even at the beginning of the season when they were losing some of those matches, like they lost a match where they created like 3 expected goals. They might not have scored, but who cares? Like past a point, like sometimes you got to just take away. You got to roll with the data, roll with the stats. Say, sometimes it just wasn't their day. The ball wasn't going in the net. But they were creating, and that's what I care about more. So when you look at it from that perspective, this was one that I kind of breezed by, but I'm in total agreement here. I think this is an Everton plus a quarter type of bet for me. This could be an Everton. So you like Everton win to nil. I think that's a nice, like pretty big, juicy price. I think that this match, like in terms of where the books have it, it's correct. Everton shaded to minus 130 at a plus a quarter line. So you're giving Everton a slight head start in this game, and I am in total agreement with it. I think that Everton, we know that Selhurst can sometimes be tough to go to, but I mean, they're still, I don't think it's like that. It's not that tough. And we know that Dyche has this kind of head-to-head, record over Hodgson where he hasn't allowed a goal against a Roy Hodgson side.
5 clean sheets in 5 games, 5 clean sheets.
So if he hasn't allowed a goal and you're already getting a plus a quarter, you're already getting the plus quarter head start with a team that has a better offense, team that has this managerial edge. This is going to be an ad for me. Yes. You've got me here. I'm going to log on right now. This is Everton plus a quarter minus 132 right now at Bet Rivers, and this is being placed.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just for our audience out there that maybe doesn't know how these Asian lines work, the plus a quarter can be confusing. To be quite honest, I got to refresh myself. So Matt, if Everton wins the game, will win his bet. If Everton draws, he'll win half his bet, and if Everton loses, well, he'll lose his bet. So that's how plus a quarter works. Good refresher for myself.
Yeah, you kind of, it's kind of what would you call it? More of like a pragmatic like role. Like you might only win a half unit or whatever, but it's better than taking maybe like a juiced up like double chance. I think like because the double chance here is minus 175, which is a pretty solid parlay piece.
Really solid. Do that with your both teams to score in Wolves Tottenham. I think we're cooking up a nice little parlay for you boys.
This is a perfect example though of a match I can see a draw in, so I don't want to be with a draw no bet. In a way,
you could see 0-0. Nothing's going to surprise me if this game goes 0-0.
Yeah, so that's going to be a nice little ad. I like that, Jason.
What's your juice? Just so when I throw the bets up,
minus 132. Minus 132.
Okay, all right, guys. I think Matt didn't do anything to put me off, so I'm doing a half unit on the 0-0 halftime. I'm doing a half unit on the clean sheet, and I'm doing a half unit on the win to nil. I'll get you those prices whenever I put them up here on the screen at the end of the show. All right, let's move over now to Old Trafford. Scary Old Trafford. Everybody hates coming to Old Trafford. Theater of dreams. Who likes to play their football there? Apparently not even Manchester United. That's how bad it's gotten over there. They need a huge pickup after yesterday's result there in the Champions League, letting a late 3-2 lead slip away all the way to the 4-3 loss. Looked great, 25, 30 minutes. I'm watching that game on TikTok, and it's like, yeah, United's in full control. And then Rashford, rightfully so, gets a red card after stomping on the Copenhagen player, and the game flipped. and then it was a lot more competitive. Obviously, Copenhagen drew back in it. We've talked about United's forms. While they've gotten wins against Burnley, Sheffield, and Fulham, they've looked awful in all three of those. And not only they've looked awful, I thought Fulham, Burnley, well, not Burnley, Sheffield and Fulham looked better. Burnley was probably like a, who both of them sucked that day. So they're squeaking out wins. I got no confidence backing United. I've been on the Luton fade all season. You've been on the Luton fade all season. Luton coming off the big 1-1 draw there against Liverpool. I don't know. Right now I don't have a bet on this because I just don't have confidence in where Man United is. So, yeah, nothing for me on this game.
I can say, I'm going to be using kind of the eyes here. I watched the entire Luton Liverpool match, and I watched the entire Copenhagen Man United match. I think that Luton Liverpool, like that is like before you go to Old Trafford, you play a tough Liverpool team at home, and they played them incredibly well, Jason. Like I don't even think, like I can't really fault Liverpool's performance overall. Like Liverpool didn't create really jack shit. Like Nunez had one cupcake that he should have buried. But it's Nunez, and that's what he doesn't. He doesn't bury cupcake chances. He only bets he only buries like
Stuns.
the absolute galactos.
Yeah. You saw BR's.
I mean,
after that game, you saw the tweet that BR Football sent out. It's the Drake where Nunez is like tap-ins. He's like, nah. Stunners? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Salah put him on an absolute platter. I think that you and I could have finished the chance. And yeah, he didn't. But the fact is that Luton were drilled. They're drilled now. They played that home match, but they played it like a road game because you're playing. You've got 11 men behind the ball. You're trying to stir something up on the counter attack. That's exactly how this game is going to go. They're on the road at Old Trafford against a pissed off United team, and I don't think that Luton's going to create much here, but I think that they're well drilled just based off my eye test on what I saw against Liverpool. They were drilled. I thought that they played Liverpool incredibly well. There was not much. On big chances. It says in the XG like Liverpool created like 2.5, but man, I struggle to like even agree with that in a sense. I think there's just a ton of half chances like adding up that none of them were really easy in my mind other than the Nunez. So that one would have been like a 0.9 expected goal to go in, and it didn't. I've got, I want to be on Luton. I was hoping that like this would be like a Luton +2, but it's a Luton +1.5. I'm going under the number here, under 3 goals, at just a flat 110.
Under.
I
like that.
Under. I don't think that Luton is going to. I would be surprised if Luton scored. I would be even with how United have been. United should be able to just be somewhat cautious with the ball, but I think that Luton will be somewhat tough. I would be surprised if United, score 3 goals on their own here. I think that this is a 1-0, 2-0 to United. I think it could be zeros for a while. I'm not sure, but I just think that Luton will struggle to score. I think that their defense is well drilled right now after that Liverpool match to make it difficult on United to score, and this game goes under the number.
I like that. You may have just convinced me that maybe it's United clean sheet because they have been really good defensively. Maybe that's the way it's at plus money. The thing that gives me a little pause in terms of, we know Luton's got the third worst XG allowed on the road. It's 2.02 goals allowed on the road. Mm-hmm. United at home, XG created is 1.67. Luton, XG created on the road is 0.76. So I'm kind of liking your United clean sheet possibility. I like an unders in United games currently. I took a stab at the under 2.5 yesterday and obviously came out looking like a clown on that one. But
yeah, but, you're not going to get them all right, and at least that one wasn't even like close or whatever. Like.
Yeah,
but I was looking. I think that the under 2.5 plus 140 looks good. I just kind of bumped it to the under 3 just to be a little bit more cautious because I mean, I could see a 2-1 here, I guess, but I agree. I think that United should absolutely come in here and keep a clean sheet. Luton shouldn't have much, and I'm definitely going eye test here off of not. I'm going to throw the stats a little bit away, and we're going to say, Jason, after how many games have we played here now in the Premier League? What are we at
This is
here?
11 games have been played.
This is 11 games. So I'm saying after about 10 games, Luton have struggled. We know that they've been, crushed by some of these teams. Like what was that match day one when Luton I think played Brighton and Brighton looked like they could have had 10 goals.
Mm-hmm.
But these teams are going to improve. They're still very quality players and good managers, and I think that it was a testament to the manager. I think that Liverpool match. I really do think that they were looked pretty well drilled, and that's where I'm going here. I think if you can hold Liverpool to a late one goal that they needed in the 95th minute, then I think that you can hold United a little for a long time here. I think that you can hold United for a long time. We'll see.
Yep. All right, cool. Good stuff right there. I'll see if I can't get to the window on maybe a United clean sheet at plus money. Hoyland to get his first Premier League goal is at plus 120. Obviously, coming off the brace yesterday in Denmark. Maybe he gets his first goal in the league, but we'll see. I do like your under 3. I think that's a great one, and I like that. Let's see if I don't jump on that clean sheet. All right, Matt, let's hop on over to Bournemouth now. Bournemouth versus Newcastle. I don't know if you were on my 2-unit banger last week. I don't know if you were on my plus 500 cash. But it came through. Man City against Bournemouth. This feels like another great spot. Newcastle against Bournemouth. It's not as good because City was at home, and you don't have Newcastle here at St. James Park. That's why I'm not going to go any 2.5 units or go quite crazy on this. But this is a spot where it's really just the injury concerns for Newcastle and a lot of their forwards that are down and their attacking players that give me a touch pause. Tough game, obviously, in Germany midweek, losing that one 2-0. But otherwise, I like Newcastle team total over 1.5. They still have enough quality to punish Bournemouth, who has the bottom 5 in XG allowed, conceded in the Premier League. Newcastle creates, not as good on the road. That's why I did the under 2.5 against Dortmund, because their numbers take a significant drop when they do go away from St. James Park. But this is a team that they should be able to handle. The team total again's at 1.5. For them just to score a goal in the first half is minus 145. Like, these are the plays where, yeah, they're juicy at minus 145, but, they should get a goal in the first half. They should get a couple goals against Bournemouth. Am I missing something here?
I think that this is I think that this match is going to be tougher for Newcastle than you think. Just purely based on, well, yeah, one, the midweek Champions League. We can't overlook that enough. I think that this game goes under. I truly I think that this game is low scoring. I think that Newcastle's, with the depletion of some of these players, some of these key players. No Bruno Guimaraes here, 5 yellow cards. He's out. No Tonali. No Dan Burn. No Harvey Barnes again. No Botman. No Isak. Callum Wilson is touch and go here to even go. So
Yeah.
they're freaking depleted, man. And then you look at the head-to-heads last season. Both, the last 3 head-to-heads between these two, they've gone under the number. Bournemouth have been in a tough little spot here. I mean, they lost. They played Liverpool in the EFL Cup. It was a solid Liverpool lineup. Then they play Man City. I think that you throw those results kind of out the window, and I think that this thing's going to be tight. I think this thing is going to be tight. I think that this game goes under the number. Yeah, I could even see. I think that there definitely is upset potential here. I really do. I think that plus 410 on someone like a Bournemouth, yeah, you got to hold your nose because they kind of suck. But Newcastle is freaking depleted, and I'm not sure that they should be laying minus 160 here on the road with all those guys out. I don't see it. I don't see why is Newcastle laying minus 160 with 4 or 5 of their best players out of the lineup? Seriously. You can't tell me that this Newcastle lineup that they're going to throw out there isn't better than mid-table.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
We're
definitely
getting
depleted.
we're getting 4-1. Yeah, I'd be looking Bournemouth double chance plus 130. I like, you can get an under 3 goals here at a minus 110. That's where I'm at. I want to bet this one, but I would. This is a complete lineup checker. This is one where you wait. I think you got to check all your boxes on a match like this with so many absentees. I I would pass on that like first half angle that I know that. I mean, you had a beauty last week, Jason. You had a beauty,
Yeah,
and that was Man City. That was Man City. That was the best team in the world. This is
at home.
Newcastle
Yeah.
who can't get off the floor and lose a home and away to a Borussia Dortmund side that hasn't looked that great this year.
Hmm.
This is not the same Newcastle that we saw. So this is
And not the same
I think
away from St. James Park.
Ford
Remember
is
the
the
Champions
home
League?
team.
We've cashed under 2.5 against AC Milan. We just cashed it the other night there against Dortmund. They drop off. All their XG numbers drop off dramatically away from St. James Park. I'm wondering if a both teams to score at minus 150 would be a good. I'd probably jump it in a parlay because last 7 Premier League games head to head, both teams to score is hitting all seven. All seven in the Premier
Yeah,
League, both teams to score is hit.
yeah, yeah. This is one. Yeah, I screw this game. Really, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere close to it.
Don't give me a close for it. Okay. All right. Let's turn our attention now over to Villa Park. Aston Villa taking on Fulham. This is another one. Bit of a head scratcher. I kind of want to see what Villa does today there in the Europa Conference League. But their team total over 1.5 is minus 160, which to me looks like a great parlay piece at home where they're always fantastic. They're generally good on the road. Tripped us up last week against Forest, not being able to cover the both teams to score. But I would go right back to them and definitely go back to them here at Villa Park, taking on Fulham, that they can get 2 goals at minus 160 in a parlay. How do you think about Fulham? They just create. Look at their XG numbers. They're in the top 5 home and away. They're just a fantastic side. Unai Emery rotates it really well on Thursdays, gets them ready again on Sundays. I like Villa's team total at minus 160, possibly as a parlay piece.
Yeah, that's one I think I would rather. I would twist it to Villa to win, like Villa to win minus 180 as the parlay, because look at how Villa Villa have been so good at home. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, look
They're
at
really
Villa.
good.
They've won. They're like what? They've won 12 in a row.
Yeah, they're solid.
12 home games in a row. So I mean, Fulham will struggle here. They've kind of picked up their offense a little bit, but I think that they'll struggle. Um,
He looked better against United,
yeah,
but that being said, it wasn't like they were wasting all their chances. Like every time they hit that net, they hit it right at Onana, and you and me could have made the save. They didn't do a damn thing against United. They were awful. But
like
United
we'll
was
get
also
to
awful.
my 1A parlay piece that we're going to talk about later, but I mean this would be my 1B. Aston Villa to win the match. Even after them screwing me last week, like I felt really good about that one too.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
believe they
I know.
couldn't.
That was a heartbreaker. Great plus money. I thought they just didn't
Yeah,
quite get home. They haven't lost a Premier League game at home all season long. Their only loss at home was in the EFL Cup. They haven't lost in the league at home.
I know. 12 straight in the league. I
Yeah.
mean, that is Unai Emery to a T. Uh, I mean, this is a Villa and over 1.5. This is a. I mean, yeah, this is probably going to need to be bet just purely off of the trends of them at home. I mean, if you aren't betting in some way, shape, or form Villa to win this match, you're not doing it right because like they've got to be hit here. They're not on my card right now, but I think that it is because of the price. And I mean, this just needs to be like looked at harder and added in as a parlay with something else like this. Villa with Wolves plus one, or this with Wolves plus 1.5 would be pretty close to even money. That looks strong.
Yeah, I'm on Fulham. I'm on Villa here at home. It is all
Yeah,
what you said, home stat, with Unai Emery mixing it up here, or how he does on Thursday with the rotation. I will for sure be backing Villa in this match, 100%. Now, I can't ignore the
yeah,
numbers, right? I mean, why are we doing all this research if we're not going to bet the numbers and they're outstanding at home at Villa Park? So sign me up.
exactly, exactly.
All right. Last week's smash spot was City at home against Bournemouth. this week's smash spot, and this is where I wish Brighton could just like exit Europa League and just be playing once a week. Because if they were playing once a week at home here against Sheffield, I would go right back to the exact same bets I did City against Bournemouth, the over 1.5, and I would even sprinkle the over 2.5. They should dominate. But I just need to see what lineup De Zerbi is going to throw out on a Sunday coming off a Thursday in the Europa League. Otherwise, it's one-way traffic. We know how Brighton is. We know how certainly they are at home. High press, going to turn Sheffield over all day long. They'll dominate possession here. They're going to win this game. I even say be of a clean sheet. And I know they're not a clean sheet team. They actually do concede goals, and their numbers of XG conceded it is in the bottom 10 actually of the Premier League. They give up goals, but Sheffield's not going to be able to capitalize in my mind. I want to see the lineup. Stay with me here on Twitter. If we get a good lineup, we're going right back to some of the similar bets we did City against Bournemouth. Smash spot right here with Brighton at home.
Wow. See, like, yeah, I think that the Europa League completely puts me off this one. I like this one, and I'm off of it because, I mean, dude, the fact is that Brighton, they haven't gotten the job done. They haven't won in the league in 7 games in a row. Tons of draws. A 1-0 loss to Chelsea. A 6-1 loss to Villa. A 2-2 draw to Liverpool. A 2-1 loss to City, even though they look good. A 1-1 against Fulham and a 1-1 against Everton. You're right. I mean, Sheffield will be coming off a little bit of a high, getting the 95th, 99th minute winner against Wolves last week. But you're right. I mean, Sheffield on the road have been dreadful. They've lost all 5.
I was on that Wolves double chance. That was in a parlay, and that was the only leg that missed in the parlay, and they gave up that late penalty. That was pain.
You know, they got blitzed by Arsenal last week or whatever. You know, their goal differential, they're -10 Sheffield on the road. So I do hear you on that front. This is totally lineup checker. I mean, you do. This is one you have to wait for just to.
I know because of Thursday night.
Yeah, you're right. This does suck, and it does that Thursday night brings a touch of hesitation. In this one, just purely based on they haven't gotten the 3 points in quite some time in the league. So.
And I'm pretty sure they're on the road at Ajax today, so they've got some obviously travel involved in well. But if I get Matomo, if I get Ferguson, if I get Pedro, if I get Pascal Gross, Lallana, and I say Gilmore, but he does not really. It's really obviously Lallana and Gross. If I get those 5, I'm going to pull the trigger, I feel like. I'm going to pull the trigger. It's going to be hard for me not to. Over 1.5 goals in the first half is plus 180. Over 2.5 is plus 700. Like I'm sprinkling that, and I'm going in heavy on the over 1.5 if I get the lineup that I like.
I mean, what are we doing here right now with this Brighton side up against Ajax starting in 10 minutes?
Whatever you want. I mean, we all know Ajax is in hell. They're in the relegation. You know, in their
Ajax so bad, man. This and you know, Brighton won 2-0 in the reverse fixture. They're -148 right now. I think that they're going to get the job done today. I need to probably put a touch on this. Brighton are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like a Brighton and over 1.5.
And Sheffield in the first half of their matches, they ranked 15th in the Premier League. They're awful. They're averaging 1.09 goals in the first half. Flip that when they're on away. They're dropped to 19th in the Premier League when they're away in the first half. Awful in the first half when they're away. I mean, overall they're awful, but definitely certainly awful here. They've got 5 straight losses here in the first half. Perhaps if you get a good lineup, Brighton, halftime, full-time. Brighton on the halftime, full-time would be a good look on this one.
Yeah. I do like that.
Okay. All right, let's get this done here in the next 10 minutes so you can go and you can go watch your Liverpool squad here. We've got a couple of matches left. We've got Liverpool, Brentford. We've got Liverpool, Brentford. We've got that matchup, obviously taken on at Anfield. That one to me feels like a little both teams to score in over 2.5. I just like Brentford here with the full week off. I like them nicking a goal, contributing to the over 2.5, and it's hard not to like Liverpool, especially with the lineup they put out today. They'll be really strong given who they're playing today on Sunday's lineup. I like a both team to score in over 2.5 in this one. I'm sure Liverpool should get the win, but I'm just more interested in getting goals in this one.
I mean, yeah, Brentford are going to be competitive here. You know, coming off a nice 2-0 on the road. When they beat Chelsea a few weeks ago. Um, Something's up still with Liverpool, like over the last it's basically been over a year, over a full calendar year now, where they are struggling on the road. Like it was head scratching how they didn't really look that great against Luton.
Mm-hmm.
Like Luton bunkered in, and it was surprising that I Liverpool with like the Szoboszlai and McAllister and Trent, like we've been able to be better against that defensive bunker. But they they really struggled. So Liverpool maybe still have some issues on the road. But yeah, I'm just going back to I don't know exactly how this game's going to go. I really don't. I think that Brentford will be competitive. I could see sometimes I can see clean sheet when you've got Virgil van Dijk and Kanate back there and they're at home. But I'm just going right back to it. Like, not going to complicate it here. I'm going to take a juicy line, -165, Mo Salah to score or assist.
Love
It's
that.
just
Even
still,
with being rested today. I mean, he may come on for a little last 20 minutes or so, but rested.
yeah, he's just still right now. I think that he's probably the best player in the world, like right now, like in form over the last, this whole year. Probably he's unbelievable. So I'm just going to keep backing him.
Going to keep backing him. The reason I also like goals in this one, Brentford, seventh best XG away created in the Premier League. They're really stinking good, home and away, creating chances. I think they're going to finish at least one of them, like I said, with the full rest, probably in the first half. I even like Brentford to maybe even come out and get the first goal if you want to take a stab at that, just with how much more energy I think they're going to have in the first 20 minutes of this game. So Liverpool's been tough, though. They allow just over a goal per game at home at 1.03 in terms of XG conceded. So it's going to be tough. But I'm going to lean on Brentford, and I like them to get the goal and cover the both teams to score in over 2.5 in this one. All right, let's move over there to West Ham and Forest, where really the only thing I really would maybe take a chance at was cards, and then I looked up the referee because they're 6th and 7th in the Premier League in terms of most cards in the league. But then you get Salisbury; he's going to be the referee here, and he only averages 2.5 cards per match. So that kind of just threw that angle right out the window. And then you look at West Ham then. So you go, okay, right back to the bread and butter. It's cashed in every match but one. Both teams to score as a parlay leg.
Yeah, that's where I was. I was trying like kind of like last week. I think I had three both teams scoring over 2.5s,
You
like
did. You hit
goals.
two of them, I believe.
Yeah, and this was the one that I had. I think that this is a both teams to score in over 2.5. Forest have scored in three straight on the road. Forest is feeling good after bagging two last week against Villa. That was at home. Now they got to come back and try to keep another clean sheet against a team that scored in pretty much, every match this season. Yeah, and you get a good price here. I mean, you're going to get, plus 104 on Bet Rivers. I think it might be better elsewhere. Let me just double check on price here real quick. I think that this would be the one. This would be my both. This would be my both teams to score and over 2.5 spot on the week.
It's the angle.
Oh yeah,
It's West Ham. How can you not like it? I mean, it's literally it in every game but one. The both teams to score part.
exactly. So I haven't gotten there yet on this one, but that would be my bet here. Clearly, both teams score over 2.5.
I would say don't try and predict a winner while West Ham's in Europe and the bigger team bursts a name. They've only got one win in their last 6 matches, so they're not. They're covering, they're scoring, and they're covering overs, but they're not coming through on the money line. Just keep betting what is working in the West Ham game, which is the over 2.5 and both teams to score. All right, one more match over there at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea versus Manchester City, and I look at this match. And I get Manchester City at -125, and I don't pass that up. I don't give a shit who they're playing. I don't care if it's Inter Milan in the Champions League final. I'm going to take -125 on the money line. That's what I'm thinking. Manchester City money line, -125. The slight pause when I started looking into this match is Pochettino has been really successful against Man City, obviously, when he was a member of Tottenham. Can he replicate that here with this Chelsea team that's disjointed? They don't have nearly the attacking quality players that he had when he was, the coach at Tottenham. So while he had success in this head-to-head, I don't think it's going to translate with the squad that he has here at Chelsea. And obviously, City just absolutely flying high. I'm just taking the money line. I'm not trying to complicate it. It's minus 125 at Caesars. Sign me up for the best team in the world.
Same, yeah. I went City and under 4.5 because I do think that this game will be tight. I got it at a plus price, plus 106. I think that, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, like City were struggling. Like, would I bet this a couple weeks ago? Yeah, I probably still would, but, they lost, and then the
they only
the
lost because they
international
didn't have Rodri, though. Like, literally, they lost because one
True.
player didn't play. Like, they don't have that
True.
slump if Rodri's not suspended.
Agreed. And now they've come back after that international break, and what have they done? They've been flying. Holland's back, everything. Then you look at the head-to-head, 6 consecutive Man City defeats, 6 consecutive clean sheets against Chelsea. I know that this is a different Chelsea. I do think that they will be competitive here. I don't think that this is going to be some like blowout by Man City. I really don't. But, fish regulator. I don't know. I mean, 6 consecutive City clean sheets against Chelsea. I mean, the City defense is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one I wouldn't say yes or no. I would just pass on that personally.
Man City is number one, Fish. I'll just say it. City is number one in the league in XG conceded. You don't touch their goal. You don't touch it.
It's tough. Exactly. And so, yeah. That just give me City and under 4.5 here at a plus price. I do think that they're obviously better, and they're flying right now. How can you not?
All right, let's go ahead and throw these bets on, and then let's get some Europa League action here. Do the parlay first. There you go, Fish. Michael's got Nicholas Jackson to go ahead and bag a goal. So if you do the both teams a score, you're not alone. Michael's going to come along for that ride. All right, our Between the Post parlay of the week. Matt's going to go ahead and back Wolves at a goal and a half, and I'm going to go ahead and back that Villa team total over 1.5 at plus 108. Let's get Matt's bets up here on the screen. Here is Matt's. What you got there, Matt? How are you cashing this weekend?
Yep. Wolves double chance. Up against an injury-riddled Tottenham, and Nketiah against kind of a low block Burnley. Hopefully he plays here. Salah, like I kind of touched on, he's just so in form right now with his assists and goals. I'm going to back him. Man City at under 4.5. Just touched on that game. Best team in the world, getting them at a plus price. Man United, Luton. Kind of talked about that one's more of like the eye test. I think that Luton were well drilled against Liverpool. I think that they'll be well drilled at Old Trafford, and that game will just be kind of close and nervy. And then you convinced me on an Everton going on the road against Palace. I think the plus a quarter is a nice play, and the managerial head-to-head dominance of Sean Dyche over an old boy Roy Hodgson.
Old boy Roy. You can see I triple dipped in that game. I don't do all this research for nothing, so I'll just bet all the angles and hope we can go 3-0, but just do a half unit on each. You obviously get some big prices there at plus 240 and plus 370. I'm with you on that Wolves double chance. That was the bet that we had in common this weekend. And then I'm not going to tackle on the under 4.5, but I agreed with your under 4.5. I'm just going to stick to the money line at minus 125. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll obviously won't be with you next week like we are every single week because the boys will be on international break. So we'll see you in 2 weeks right here, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Same time, same channel, boys. Go enjoy your Europa League. Enjoy the games this weekend as well. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.